Hello all, welcome to Europa Universalis number 4, episode 1 with SeeD Gaming. So previously I was playing Project Zomboid, quite a fun game, love it, quite enjoy it. Problem, couldn't finish it. Too many bugs going on right now, so I decided to switch it up. Now you might be asking, well, SeeD, why did you pick Europa Universalis 4? That is a good question. It is a great game, and I think that it needs to be seen by many more people. It is a complex game, and it is unforgiving. Basically, I would describe it in the most basic way as the evolution of civilization. So in the sense, if you play Civ or any other previous Civ games, Civ is like a training game for this. And even then, you won't be prepared for the level of complexity in this game. I mean, as you can see, this is the world map, okay? I'm using a mod called MEIOU in Taxes, currently version 1.09, I believe. Basically mods some basic gameplay, changes some of the country, allows you to start earlier. In Europa 3, it was a great mod. The Death and Taxes and MEIOU, they were all very good mods, and they teamed up for Europa 4 and are producing a very high quality mod. Some bugs right now in it in terms of FPS and some hanging, but overall, so far so good. But as you can see, when you compare this to a game like Civ, it's just so in depth. I mean, okay, so we're starting in 1356. Here you have China before it forms. It's part of the Yuan dynasty. You have Japan, which is still fragmented. Of course, you have Korea still existing there. You have Southeast Asia, so you got your Vietnams still split into their individual nations and the other ones as well. Indonesia, of course, Australia is uncolonized at this point. You could go into India, still very fractured. Middle East, very fractured. You go into Africa, all the different African nations / tribes. You go into Europe, you have all the countries, and it's still very fractured. I mean, in this case, France hasn't formed yet. Great Britain, of course, still has yet to form. Scandinavia, still fractured. Denmark, I believe, at this point, still has certain states as its vassals, which means, that they serve under them. So it's a fun game because there's so much depth to it, and when you start to get into the process of, building your nation, expanding and all that, it's a lot of fun. But it's not so simple as just, select a unit and attack. There's a lot of consequences for your actions. You have to find opportune moments. In this playthrough, I'm not just going to go and pick the easiest one possible. I could easily just pick a England or a France or a Spain, stomp all over my enemies, but that's not fun. I want to pick something a little more intense. I'm going to go into Japan. We're going to pick Uesugi. Now, in the original version of Europa 4, Japan was a little bugged in the sense that the empire had its own state, Japan, which is normal, but it could easily just kind of slowly annex everything, and it kind of made it unrealistic because if you were doing well as one of the smaller feudal lords in Japan, you would just get annexed no matter what because what am I trying to say here? The individual Japan state, Kyoto and stuff, was able to just start gobbling everything up without going to war. I don't know if they fixed it in MEOU and Taxes. I want to find out. So I'm going to pick Uesugi. That's how you pronounce it. Cool. If not, don't give a shit. No, I'm just kidding. But so I'm going to pick Uesugi, and my goal will be to form Japan. Now, you'll see in this game that nothing happens amazingly quick. Everything is a process, and it does take time. And, that's how you should treat the game. It's not something that you win in one sitting. Some of these games can go on for weeks. I'm going to try to do a lot of episodes of this if it's, if you guys enjoy it. By all means, please do stay tuned and watch. I really do enjoy this game. It's a lot of fun. In Europa 3, I sunk a ridiculous amount of time. Into this game already, Europa 4, I've sunk 209 hours. I'm a history guy. That's what I actually study in college. My plans are to stick in that academic kind of field. So I love history, and this game to me is a good combination of being able to shape history how you want it, but also staying true to some of the actual events. So, it's a lot of fun in that sense. So first thing you do is you come into the game, you see it's in terrain mode. Always want to get out of this one fast. Usually keep it in political mode. That way you can see the individual states. It gives them colors and stuff. It's easier to tell. So when you join in this mode, I'm still new to the MEOU and Taxes mod in this version, so I'm going to be learning on the fly a little bit as well. But as you can see, I started with 6,000 men. Each man is worth 1,000. 5,000 infantry and 1,000 cavalry. Now, they have their own uses. Infantry are important for sieging and taking places. Cavalry are good for combat, from my understanding, and they're good at overrunning other infantry, which, I mean, makes sense. So first off, we're going to look at our missions. Every moment in this game, you'll always have the option to pick a mission. So it could be, sometimes there's really cool ones and they're unique and stuff, and other times they're a little more boring. So in this case, my 3 missions right now I can choose from are, I can create a proper fleet, so build my navy up. I can form an alliance with Imajoa, which would be useful. I think they're one of my neighbors, actually. Let's see, where are they? Here they are. So they're this little state down here, but that would be nice. They have a 6 army. It would be cool to have them engaging for me as well. And the final one is save the Chubu people in Echu, which is, where is Echu? I believe that's, yeah, just up here. So I could basically, excuse me, probably a mission to conquer those people, which, isn't so bad too. I think for now, I'll take the alliance. That should be pretty easy to form early on. Coming into the game, you usually start with okay relations. Yeah, see, they'll form an alliance with me right off the bat. So I'll do that. Now, you can also hire advisors in this game. I'm going to go through this game bit by bit. I mean, I can't just sit down and tackle it all at once. There's a lot to it. But advisors basically influence different aspects of your society. Now, what's new in Europa 4 is they've added advisors that are tilted towards each of the 3 major point categories. So you have administrative power, you have diplomatic power, and military power. Each of these is needed to upgrade the specific tech involved with those. So military being military, of course, diplomatic being government types and all that, and administrative power being, hang on, let me try to remember, it's been a while. Diplomatic power is for navy and stuff, and the administrative tech is actually for government types. And of course, each tech has buildings attached to it and other bonuses. Sometimes it's just a small little bonus that could be a percentage increase in whatever. But these are important because they're what you use as tech, but they're also what you use to do decisions throughout the game. So if you want to hire a military leader, for example, it costs military power. If you want to, put pressure on a province by cracking down the rebellions, it costs military power. If you want to have diplomatic relations with other states, it costs diplo power. Building upgrades in your state uses administrative power. So everything touches in it. Now, back to the advisors. So every advisor does different things. So like, for example, this is a lower tier guy. He only would reward me with 1 administrative, and he gives me a 10% production efficiency, which means, the production of my nation, 10% better. This guy here, -3 revolt risk, so he helps crack down on revolts. And this guy, 5% tax modifier, meaning I gain 5% more tax. Each advisor has very specific things. They change over time and stuff, and, early in the game in Europa 4, you can't really hire them. They're too expensive. But in Europa 3, you could. And it was important to do that because it benefited your nation as a whole. So, where are we starting here? We're going to form that alliance with Imajoa. I just want to check my king real quick. So you can always check your king under the first government tab. I have a pretty decent king. He's 444. That's not so bad. Because of that, I am going to convert him into a military leader. I want him fighting and leading my army to glory. So, we're really quickly going to pause. In this game, the plus key speeds it up, the minus key slows it down, and the pause break key on your keyboard pauses the game. Be ready to pause a lot, be ready to speed it and slow it down as needed. In, peaceful times, you can slow it down. Or, sorry, other way around. Speed it up. My mind is all over the place now. I guess I'm a little tired, but you know what? Crazy seed is a good seed. So, yeah, you want to speed it up in times of peace because there's no point in having it go slow. But when you're in like a hectic war or you have a lot of stuff going on, slow it down or even pause it. It's the kind of game where you're going to pause a lot. So, I think I completed that mission, yep, so I can choose a new one. I'm going to conquer those people. I think I want to grab that one because I don't think they have an army. And I don't know if they have any allies. They don't. So I'm going to really quickly declare war. I'm not going to call Imajoa in. I don't need to. And I'm going to march in there. We're going to just run in there and take them down. This is just an MEIOE pop-up talking about the mod. You know very well, not important. We have a good king, doesn't matter. Alright, here we go. So we're marching in. I've sped it up to full speed. I've heard that on full speed this mod struggles, so maybe I'll go to 4. Have it pause now. So as you see, I'm sieging. So the way sieges work... Hang on, let me just deal with this religion. And like I said, there's going to be a lot of stuff popping up as I play through this. I'll explain it to the best of my ability. I'm still learning with some of the newer stuff too. But for this one, I think it's just how much you want religion to be an important part of your society. So I'll do moderate because it can actually have some benefits, of course, for control. So sieging. The way sieging works is you basically need to get their morale to 0. When their morale hits nothing, the siege will fall, and you will take over the place. You can assault it, but early on in the game, it's not very good without artillery. It takes way too many lives, and it actually slows down the process of sieging. So what we'll do in this case is we'll just bleed them dry. Our goal will be to hold the siege for as long as possible until they run out of supplies or they surrender. At different stages in the siege, you can start to assault with higher success. So for example, when the defenders desert or the walls are breached, you have a pretty high chance of succeeding through an assault. In this case, the siege is at status quo, so nothing has changed. There's no point in assaulting yet, and just ride it out. So for now, I'll keep the speed going, decently fast, and we'll see if we can pump this place down. Now, every, I believe it is 30 days in Europa 4, you have a chance to move to the next stage of the siege. So here, on the next tick, which takes place in, I believe, 28 days in game time, I'll have a 50% chance to jump to the food shortage. And basically the goal is to get them to surrender, of course, to move up. So you can see that down there. I can't really mouse over it because it'll disappear, but if you see it, you see the different percentages. Right now I have a 0 on food shortage, 0 water, 0 for defenders desert, and of course 0 for surrender. But now, see, I just moved into the food shortage now, so they have a little bit of a supply shortage, and eventually they're going to fall. So we'll just keep riding on that. We have our ally over here. It seems like he cut his army, actually. I guess they're stressing out a little bit. I'm going to bring out my navy because I believe I can sink his ships no problem. We just lost some money to some effect. Always read your pop-ups because sometimes they're going to really have a strong influence. And you don't want to lose stuff unnecessarily. Let's go sink his ships real quick over here. Hopefully my navy's strong enough to win. It's very possible it's not. Navies early on in this game can be pretty weak at times. And sometimes it's just a luck of the draw with these early, very even battles. Okay, let's see what we got going on here. Am I at war with more than one person? Yeah, I'm at war with 2 people here. Okay, so I think my navy's going to get pummeled here. Well, yeah, he had an extra ship join in. That's fine. I mean, the amount of ships we're dealing with right now is so minute. It's not even important. It's possible I actually win this. Still, it's not completely written off. It's not looking good, though. I don't know. Yeah, I'm losing it. That's fine, though. So I'm going to retreat, get my boats back into the dock. I lost a ship, but, I mean, like I said, I'm not really leaving Japan yet, and the only way that that could hurt me is if they somehow get dominant of the seas to the point where I can't cross these land bridges to take over these islands later, but we're not there yet, and in all honesty, I'm going to annex this guy, so he'll lose those ships anyways. Let's see how the siege is going. So we are... Oh, he actually made some men, but they're going to get dominated because I have a much larger stack. Crushed. My siege is at... Let's see. We're actually getting closer to surrender. We're at the defender's desert stage, so that's going to keep growing. Siege has been almost going on for a year, 100 days short of that. Decent amount of time, but it will fall. That's going to happen. When you're sieging, your men do have attrition, which means they'll slowly deteriorate, but you can control it. You can be careful. You can always split it off, regen some men, and send them back. Normally, in a war, too, you definitely want to watch all your flanks, but I know in this case, my only threat is the one I'm conquering. The other guy can't really muster up the forces to come and stop me. So, I can abuse him, and I will. I'm going to annex this property afterwards. So let's see, how is our siege going? We're sitting at 14% chance for defenders to desert. Probably heading towards the surrender soon, I would hope. But you never know. I mean, sometimes the sieges are weird in this game. I don't want to assault it. I won't gain anything from it. I'll just damage my men more than it is useful. So, just going to ride it out for now. Sooner or later, the siege should go in my favor. Still waiting, but like I said, I don't have any threats right now pushing me down that I have to immediately respond to. So, we'll just keep riding this out. Let's see. So, I just hit the surrender stage, which means soon this fort should fall, and I should have this province. So we're going to wait it out. I believe the surrender chance will grow. We're about to head to another phase. Basically how the phases work too is it rolls a dice to see which one you land in. So right now, on the roll of a 20 to 22, which you saw it grew from a 20, it will mean that it surrenders. So it's, there's an element of chance, but obviously the longer you're holding a siege, the higher the chance. So in a second, we're going to have another phase, and you'll see that 20 to 22 should grow again. Let's wait and see. So see, it went 20 to 23 this time. Next siege phase is in 30 days, and it should grow again to the point where eventually this fort will fall. Yeah, you might say this has been a long-ass siege. What are you gaining from this? Like I said, this game isn't about instant victories and completely taking over Japan in 5 seconds. Let me just read what I have to deal with here. So I can lose 16 gold, and then I have 33% chance of different advisors popping up, but those are useful lists to me right now. I don't need them. 5 army tradition, which influences how good of generals you can hire, and basically just your army's ability. More or less, it gives it some bonuses. Or 8 ducats. Well, I am making 2 a month, so that's not really good. I'll take the army tradition for now. So anyways, let's continue this siege. It's going to fall. Okay, so here we go. It fell. So now these guys are completely on their own. I have a 33% war score. I obviously want to get the province of Echu from them. They won't give it to me yet. That's fine. Who else am I at war with here? I'm at war with these guys over here. I could march over there probably. Let me get some access through these guys, and let's go bomb on them. So let's get access. So yeah, this is the diplomacy bar. Let me explain that real quick, because there's a lot to this game, like I said. So when you select a nation, you have options. You can declare a war. You can try to ally them. You can form a coalition. There's influence actions, which are enforcing peaces, proclaiming guarantees that you'll help them and other things. Relations, you can try to improve your relations. You can warn them. You can insult them. Dynastic actions, you can royally marry them. You can offer to vassalize them, which usually they don't want to do, so that's more of a forceful thing. You can claim thrones if they have a weak king. Covert actions, you can fabricate claims, get yourself reasons to go to war. You can sow discontent. You can have advisors assassinated through that. You can support rebels, sabotage their reputation, etc., etc. Economy actions, you can embargo them. You can send gifts, loans, war subsidies, help them pay for wars, and you can even sell provinces. Lastly, access actions, which gives you access to go through their territory. That guy doesn't seem to be very nice to me right now. He doesn't seem to want to give me access, so I'll have to go around him. That's fine. This guy, actually, if I can get access from these guys, which they won't give it to me, lovely. Love it when they're being difficult. Well, instead then we will just have to move around them. Here we go. So it seems like I've got the access I need. Good. Now I'm going to march to a southern province. Oh, did these guys deny me even though it said high chance? That sucks. Let's kill these men real quick just because I can. Oh, here we go. This guy wants to meet me on the battlefield. He's rushing into my civilization. Bring it on, man. Let's fight. Okay. Yeah, it's a little choppy. That's it's not my PC once again, and it's actually the mod. And I know he's probably saying, well, see, you said that in Project Zomboid. I don't think you have a good computer at all. No, it's more than fine. I've only had this issue with MAIU and taxes, and when me and my friend were actually doing multiplayer the other night, we had a similar problem. It's just the mod. When I play in the regular mode, there's not an issue at all. But I do like the mod because it adds a lot of features, and it doesn't crash. It's not like Project Zomboid where it's going to crash out on me and I'm going to lose my save file. This is actually pretty reliable. So I just eliminated his army. That guy just said, oh shit, because he knows he's in trouble. I'm going to march into there and probably crush these guys real quick. They probably won't even know what hit them. Red means you're at war with them. And Europa 3, red meant that your men had low morale. I confused that quite frequently when I started this game, and I lost a lot of men in battles because I was thinking, oh, that guy's just low morale. I'm just going to rush in there and mess his day up. Nope. Game will not work like that. So keep that in mind. Alright, so here we're marching into the other province, and we'll commence another long siege. Let's see. I'm going to see if I can get this province. He probably will give it to me now because he knows he's in trouble. I'm also going to collapse these because they're kind of annoying and in the way. That guy's making men dropping them off by boat, but that's fine. His men are going to be irrelevant. I'll be able to accomplish this. Yeah, he's going to give me that. And while I'm at it, I'll milk him for his gold. And what else? Let's see. Transfer trade power. Can't quite get that much, but that's fine. Oh, I can get a Uesugian vassal, though. Let's do that. Make him my vassal as well, which means he has to work with me. So, war's over. As you see, I took the province up there. Hang on, I'm just trying to navigate my men. I'm going to slow it down by 1 notch. Get my men back to homeland. That way they're not getting crushed. Sorry, guys. I'm just going to drink some water. I'm actually quite thirsty. Give me 1 second. Alright. Sorry about that. So, as you saw, we took that. We completed our mission. We also have revolts possible, but we can do that by handling the rebels. We're going to manage our overextension. So, new to Europa 4 is overextension. This is basically taking the place of what was infamy in Europa 3. Infamy was basically every time you take a province, the rest of the world would hate you and they'd see you as kind of a monster in growth. No, that's a bad way to put it. Anyways, they would see you as a monster who was trying to like expand too hard and take over the world. This time they have overextension, which basically puts a lot of really awful modifiers on your nation based on how much land you've taken too quickly. I only have 3% right now. As you can see, it's very small. 0.15 national revolt, 1.5 extra stability cost. Trade abroad suffers by 3%, 1.5% more expensive mercenaries. Diplomatic reputation minus 0.06, and better relations over time is negative 0.7. But let's say that was something like a 30 or 40%, those numbers would be substantially higher and it would be much harder to recover from. Now I'm going to deal with that by turning the new province I took into a core. So here you see I can spend 47 administrative power, and in 88 months that will become a core province of my nation, meaning that I will own it, it'll be mine by right, and they will not be able to claim it back. Well, they might try, but I will also have the right to defend it at that point because it'll be something that's considered a core of my nation. So always core things in peacetime if you can afford it without suffering elsewhere, because you definitely don't want to go into wars with overextension. It'll mess you up, and it's not fun. So I have new missions. I can repair my relations with Date or Date or whatever the hell it's called. I can create the proper fleet, which, guys, I never recommend doing that mission. It's usually a pretty awful one. You never get what you need back. Or I can remove Takeda from the map. What is Takeda? Where are they? That sounds like a very interesting mission to me. It's this little single state right here. Perfect for being absorbed into my beautiful nation. I have an alliance offer from somebody. I'll accept it. Doesn't matter because it can be useful for me. And in the meantime, let's prepare to go to war with Takeda. It'll bring in Date and Nanbu. Date's above me, which could be kind of rough. And Nanbu's also above me, so that could be not fun at all. Am I still allied with Imajawa? I think so. Yes, we're allied. So let's see what happens. I'm going to make a quick save. Now you might say, oh, that's cheap, you're saving. I'm not actually going to declare the war. I just want to check a couple things. I'm also saving because I don't want my game to possibly crash. Doesn't happen often, but I'm paranoid about that. You know, Project Zomboid memories, of course. So if I was to declare war on this guy, would my allies respond? That is the question. Neither of them would. So I don't think it's worth it at the moment. But we will prepare that war. I just need a bigger military to be able to handle it. How many more men can I make? Well, as you see here, my force limit, which means the maximum amount of men I can make before suffering penalties. I can do 11. Royal marriage for Matomo. Sure, they want to be friendly with me. That's alright. So I'm going to create some men. I'm going to go recruit regiment. I'm going to make, let's say, 4 longbows. Oh, I'm out of manpower, actually. So 3 longbows is all I could really do. But I feel like my nation is in good shape. The people above me can't really do much. What I'll do when I break out the war shortly is I'll kill the armies very quickly and then separate my men into stacks that are conducting sieges. And by doing that, if they make any new men, those men that they make in their provinces will spawn with almost 0 morale. So even my 1 stacks should be able to kill them all. Which means then it's just a process of sitting on them for about a year and taking over those territories. I am a firm believer in mercantilism in this game. I like getting big empires, and I think mercantilism is the best way to carry that out trade-wise. Basically, free trade is everybody trades equally, and if you're good at the free trade, you can dominate. Whereas mercantilism is you have a complete advantage in any trade centers you own within your empire. Meaning, you know, if you're a vast empire and you own many trade centers, you're going to reap a lot of reward from that. And I love playing it like that. It's how I've always played in Europa. I find free trade to be too flimsy because the other people in the game, like the AIs, they can sometimes embargo you, or they can hurt your trade by kicking you out of their trade center. And you're at their mercy. And so if you're a warmonger, you're screwed. You're going to get taken over, and that's not good. So, yeah. I also need to actually, I don't want to give him access. I also need to can access on the things over here because I am at 6 out of 6 diplomatic relations, now 5 because I just canned that one. Also going to can this one, and finally, I think that was all I had. Now, why is this white? Okay, so he's at war. I'm going to declare the war now. I think I'll be okay. We'll find out. I don't think the armies above me are that big, but I mean, I could be completely off base on this. So real quick, I'm just going to move my men up there and see if I can get some sight. Here, this guy wants to be my ally. Why not? Doesn't hurt to have extra allies. I can't see their armies, unfortunately, but that one stack does not threaten me. Let's see. So I'm going to go to war with these guys. I almost declared war on my ally. Whoops. So let's take this one. I'm not worried about that one stack. I'm actually going to rush north. Oh, you know what? Yeah, they responded. I was going to say, they have to respond to that. Otherwise, they're not a very good ally. So as you see, he only has a one stack. So I'm going to detach a siege with the D key. I'm going to move in on his next stack over here. It got crushed, as you can see, or it's about to be crushed. I'm going to detach another siege. Move these men up. Oh, it didn't detach. Whoops. There we go. Detached. Moving up. And I'm actually going to split this, grab the 2,000 men from there, and march them over here. I actually had one of my allies join in, I believe. Possibly. Hey, where are the enemies at? I guess they got crushed already. I hope that land's being taken to my name, though. Sometimes when the AIs jump on a property first, or a province first, it basically will give them ownership of it in terms of war score. That's not good, because if I'm trying to take it as my mission, I cannot give it to them. It has to be given to me. But also in the process, I might be a bit of a warmonger and take these provinces up north just to get them out of the way, so I don't have to worry about them later. Nothing more annoying than having them foil your plans later, because one little province starts massing troops and attacks you and causes a big problems for you. Let's see, what can I do navy-wise? Not too much. My navy's kind of very weak right now, so I'll just leave that be. But as you can see, sieges are going well. 21%, 49, 49, 42. These should be falling hopefully soon. This one's doing very well, getting close to the surrender already. We're at the defender's desert stage, so this is good. Let's see. So yeah, Kai will fall soon, hopefully. It looks like the other men moved off, actually, so this is good. I own the siege now, which is what I want. Or no, sorry, they still own it. That sucks, but oh well. That's, you know, I mean, I will get that eventually. It's obviously a priority because of the mission. But at the end of the day, if I get these three up here, I'm also happy because it's going to help my nation start to form into a nice shape. Also, national decisions are in this game. So these are bigger decisions usually. They're not the smaller missions. These are big ones. Now, in this case, Japan doesn't have any yet. I think when you form the empire, a lot more of them appear. For now, it's kind of very basic. This one's related to the mod. These are not in the normal game. It's just if you want to have a certain feature of it on or off. This one is basically you can donate state lands to the church to increase your relations with them. But I'm Japan and there's not really a strong church for me to follow. If I was in Europe and I was Catholic, it might be a different story. I'm also losing money every month. I just noticed minus very small amount, 0.50 roughly. Now I'm gaining again, so it could have been just a bad trade month. But that's the thing. Sometimes, you know, you could be gaining a lot of money, and all of a sudden, in the course of a month, your trade goes to shit, and you fall apart. That's how this game works, and that's why I try to avoid free trade, because that seems to happen more often than not, and it can be crippling. Alright, so let's see. How are our sieges going? I think one of them's about to fall. Yeah, well, this one's in the surrender stage. That one's not close, and that one's deep into the surrender stage. And then once that happens, I'll amalgamate my stacks here once these ones have taken, and I'll move up north here. And my goal will be to gobble that up. And then in a following war, it'll be to gobble up these red guys beside me. Because then I'll have a nice, perfect shape, and I'll own the entire eastern coast of the country. And then, you know, essentially my goal will be short term, within the next, hopefully, 40 years in game, to basically take this line and up. And then slowly just keep working away at these guys until I can actually form Japan. Once I form Japan, well, I think usually what I like to do when I've played Japan in the past in Europa 3 is get a foothold in Korea. You don't want to go near China early on because it's very volatile. First off, they can crush you if they go to war with you. There's a lot of revolts going on, a lot of new nations forming. It's kind of just a bad area to get into. Usually Korea is a good spot to land in because you have a buffer between China and also the Jerkins up there. So, yeah, that's what you want to do. Okay, so we should be getting close to taking one of these sieges any moment. I should hope, anyways. We'll find out. Yeah, this Rikachu one should fall any moment. 57% chance. So probably this siege phase, I would say. If we're lucky, but sometimes this game comes down to some RNG elements. We also have another siege at 42, 42, 14, and 57 with, I guess, the roundup on the decimal. So just waiting, guys. This is fun. How was your day? Mine was pretty good. Actually, interesting promotion here in town, here in Toronto. They had you could trade in any Xbox 360 or PS3 game, including old sports titles, NBA '06 or NHL '07, very old games, whatever you wanted. I traded in some game that I bought at GameStop for $1 years back, and you could trade it in for Battlefield 4, Call of Duty Ghosts, or Assassin's Creed Black Flag, and that was pretty interesting actually. Fortunately, I got stuck with Ghosts, not by choice. It was all that was left. But, I'll take it. Free game. I can give it to a cousin or something for Christmas, and they'll be happy with that. I was hoping to get Battlefield 4. I'm not a big fan of the FPS games anymore, but I like the Battlefield series more than I like the Call of Duty series. I think the Call of Duty series is pretty awful, and I think it's been that way for a long time. But, I understand why some people like it. I just don't like Activision. I think they've been just milking that series for too long. And gamers, in my opinion at least, should not tolerate the way they've been treated by that company. They've basically, taken advantage of them for so long. So I'm trying to cross my men here, but I guarantee he's going to pull the boats out and prevent me. Maybe not. Okay, I actually managed to cross. That's cool. So now I'll siege this one down. Hopefully it doesn't take too long, guys. Let's see. Of course I'm losing money. Oh, I actually... Did that one go in my name? That's awesome. So it did. When you're suing for peace, okay, an important thing to know, always check who owns the war. So to do that, you can go here, and the top name owns it. So in this war, I'm going to want to negotiate with these two guys first before I do with him. Because if I was to negotiate with him first and come to a term, immediately takes me out of the war with everybody else. So by negotiating with these two lesser members, if you can suck concessions out of them before you go for the big guy. Good to know, because it'll help you, grow your nation. So let's see. I'm going to try to basically annex all these guys. I'm going to take a lot of overextension on them, but I think I can handle it because there won't be anybody near my size in this country. And as long as that's the case, I should be able to repel whatever threats come my way. Because eventually what happens in Japan is if you start to get strong, all the little guys band together and try to take you down. And as long as you're able to basically shut down their initial force, which usually they amalgamate all their forces into one super stack, you're usually good. Alright, hang on, what do I got here? Rise of urban culture. For 49 ducats I can get cheaper diplomatic technology or lose the prestige. Well, I'm gaining money, I can afford it. May as well. Want to get my technologies rolling a little better. So let's check the siege phases on this. We're at the food shortage one. Oh, we just moved into water shortage, so that's good. Hopefully I can get that finished off soon. This war is in very good shape. If you already look, I have a 100% war score. So pretty much anything I do at this point is extra added bonus. And basically the way it works is when you sue for peace, you can negotiate different deals, of course. So every piece of the deal has a percentage value. And you basically pick and choose what pieces you want. It could be taking a province, making them a vassal, taking their money, making them break treaties, different things. All have different values. Of course, the more daunting something is, the higher the value it'll be. Annexation usually is 100% of the entire war score because you're taking over their nation completely. And obviously they want to resist that. Sometimes you can fight wars of independence to break off from something if you're a vassal. And if you sue for peace, you can try to get independence. So it's kind of cool. This game has a lot of details. I'm lucky because I started in Japan as one of the stronger of the feudal lords, so it's a little easier to do. But I mean, it's not a guarantee. You have to, you have to strike early in Japan. You can't sit on your lead. You got to basically just keep the foot to the pedal and take them out as much as you can. Because the moment you get big enough, you can start to just crush them all. No matter what they do, they can't really compete. So we're heading towards the surrender phase. I do have it max speed. Whoa. Couldn't even tell because it's kind of so laggy with the lovely, lovely FPS problems in this mod. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully I can get this siege over and done with very shortly. We just moved into the surrender phase, so it's getting there. Gonna move my men up there to help out. I didn't realize I had 2 more. I should have known that. You can see that here. It shows you the armies. So I've got the one that's doing the siege and then the 2,000 men that are marching their way there. I actually just got to my first idea because wait, did I start with an idea in Japan? Really? I started with the trade idea? I don't really like that. Hang on. I guess that's, yeah, I guess that's part of Japan. So I can get shrewd commerce, which basically gives me more global trade power. The problem with this is you got to be careful because this costs diplomatic power. Some of them cost administrative and some military. It's another use for the points, by the way. You want to be careful when you're using your techs because you don't want to spend valuable points that you need to spend on tech. Because if you fall behind on tech, it's very easy to fall out of the game. Or it takes a long time to catch up and you miss opportunity. In this case, spending a little bit of Diplo power won't hurt me too much. I'll just be missing out on a boat that's coming up, but I don't need a navy yet, and not for a while. Not till I start to really solidify Japan, so I can afford to risk that to get more trade power, which will mean I get a larger income, which in turn will mean that I can have a larger army. So, as you can see, putting it all together, it is quite worthwhile. I'm also going to drink some more water, guys. I believe I'm getting sick, so if I am doing that, just, just tune your ears out for a second while you hear me swallowing. Sorry, I'm only a human. Okay, that's a little better. Wet the whistle. Perfect, surrender. Let's pause the game real quick and let's negotiate some pieces. Or some peace treaties. Full annex. That is going to cost me, let's see, I think it was 50 Diplo power, and I will take on 30 aggressive expansion, which makes my neighbors hate me, and 7 overextension. That's not so bad. I do not have enough diplomatic power because I just spent it. Well, I derped then. As you can see, I spent my Diplo powder without really thinking about it, and now I need it. Luckily, I get 6 a month, so I should be able to recoup that pretty quick, but as you can see, I missed an opportunity. I could already have pulled a couple people out of this war, and now I'm sitting in the waiting game. So I'm just going to ride that out. And yeah, I mean, I'm making more money, but it would have been nice to have the war finished already. Now, I'm just going to have to sit here. So I'm waiting till I get to 50 guys. So it's going to take a couple months in game. I'm being blockaded up there, but I don't think it's anything stressful. Gain church influence or a very shoddy amount of ducats. I'll take the church influence. Didn't seem worth it otherwise. Okay, let's see. I still have, let's unite my forces together here. What's my, any good national missions? Let's take a peek. Nothing at the moment. Okay. Almost got enough Diplo power to peace out with one of them. I'll take the blues first, just that way we're attached. Let's check the progress on this. Haven't got the core yet. Oh my god, the leg. Haven't got it yet. It's halfway. Takes time. It's not something that's instant. I mean, just imagine your land got taken over and some guy's trying to say it's his. I mean, it takes time to convince the people that are living there that they're part of the nation that took them over. But, eventually if things are well, they want to join. I mean, that's just the natural progression of it all. So, it's going to take place eventually. 2 more months and I can do it. 1 more and I can negotiate the first piece. Then I got to wait for more power to do the other ones. So, as you can see, shot myself in the foot a little bit there by picking that trade power one. But, it'll resolve itself out sooner or later, so let's just wait it out. Let's get this piece set up. Full annexation, you are mine. Okay, so that's done. As you can see, boom, 2 new provinces. Great, love it. Let's get the men out of there. Let's get them back home. Ah, he's boxing me in with his ships, that bastard. So, in the process, I'm going to pull my ships out and try to sink his. He's got no navy commander, so I should be able to handle them. Maybe I'll even get lucky and capture some ships, which would be nice. I could use some extra boats for the fleet. So here we go, in a naval battle. I seem to be winning it handily. As you can see, his guys, yeah, they're just deteriorating. I might even sink his navy fully. It's possible. Battle's resolved all by dice rolls with modifiers. If you're like land troops, you can get negative modifiers for crossing a river, mountains, things like that. I actually did take a couple ships there. That was nice. So the ships I lost earlier have already been replaced. Also, in the process, I can now move my men back. When your men are on an island, they can actually get trapped if the enemy takes his navy and blocks you from crossing. Keep that in mind if ever you commit your men into a dangerous area. You don't want to not have your army ready to react. Okay, so I seem to be losing my voice now. This is fun for the first episode of Europa 4. Okay, so very close to getting the next set of Diplo power, at which point I'll start to process these provinces. I could start to maybe work on my overextension a bit. Promising trader, sure, let's take him. Doesn't cost me anything. So we got overextension. To make them cores, it's going to take admin power. That's fine. Do not mind doing that. Need to core them eventually anyway, so may as well get that in the process. Almost got the diplo power I need. 2 more months. We're already forming a nice shape up here. Don't ever have to worry about the north again. And the thing is about this game, I originally went to war with these guys, but in the end, I'm really focusing on this land, and you can do that because I knew that he was allied with the people up here. Wars in this game aren't necessarily always over the piece that they initially start over. The only reason I started the war with him is because I could start a war without taking negative penalties like stability losses or hurting my image. I declared a war that was based on I have a right to that land and it's mine. I'm allowed to attack you to take it. And the rest of the people in this area understand that. That's part of the culture of how it works. But I don't really care about that piece of land. Yeah, I'll take it, of course, but this is, where my focus was. But it's legitimate because I declared war on a guy that I had a right to declare war on, and they came to aid him. And therefore, putting it all together, I'm allowed to attack these guys too. And because I am attacking them and beating them, I'm allowed to impose a peace on them of my choosing. And of course, that'll be taking their land. Because why would I not take their beautiful land where I can have my nice sushi, sashimi, all my beautiful stuff. Some maki rolls, some fried calamari, which I had some tonight. Very tasty. It was good. Girlfriend got me into the calamari. I used to not like it. I used to think, I wasn't a big seafood guy, and I still don't like all seafood, but I'm starting to open up to it more. It just takes time, I find. Better negotiate this piece. I'm kind of just sitting on it and rambling right now. So what happens when it's like 2 in the morning, you just kind of lose track of everything, and you just go with the flow. So I'm going to take 4 overextension, but that's not too bad. I can handle that. And boom, I've gobbled up some more beautiful land up here. Let's start coring it. That way it becomes part of the greater Uesugi Empire, which will one day be Japan, of course. So let's see. Oh, yeah, you can also westernize eventually, but that's not nearly on the bar yet. That's a ways away. Have to have a western neighbor to do that, and I have nowhere near that capability yet. So let's start coring these. And once my diplo power resets, I will begin the process of taking this territory as well. As you can see, at Chu, the first one I took is getting closer and closer. They say in about 2 years' time I'll be able to make that a core. And it's good because it means the province becomes more productive, less likely to have revolts and different rebellions, and it just becomes a part of your nation as a whole, which means you're expanding. And it becomes, what's the word for it? It becomes justified land versus unjustified, which, is important because it means the enemies can't just declare war on me because they don't like what I'm doing. It also means that if you were ever to lose that piece of land in a war, let's say you had to give it away because you were getting your ass kicked, you can declare war for it back later because it's technically your land by right, and you can take advantage of that. So we're about to, okay, good. I can do the last piece now. I'm going to sue for peace. Of course, it's a full annex. I'm not going to leave these guys alone. And bam, that was a very successful war. I completed my mission as you saw, which gave me some rewards. And let me just really quickly begin the coring on that one. I'm at 17 overextension. You can see that things are growing. I'm suffering a bit in terms of trade and some stuff, but it's nothing I can't handle. And once these cores, process, I'll be in good shape. So let's continue on. Let's check my new missions. I can now conquer Shimano, which is this one right beside me. It's not a bad idea. I wouldn't mind taking them eventually. I could repair the relations with them instead of conquering them, or I can create that stupid fleet. But like I said, I hate that fleet. I'm going to go for the conquer. I definitely want to take those guys over eventually. And I have claims on province I do not own. When I chose that mission, it basically gave me a claim on this one right here. It'll definitely be taken. Maybe not tonight. I'll probably stop playing shortly because I'm getting a little tired. Need to sleep. And be nice and fresh for tomorrow's episode. Also need to work on some research tomorrow. Nothing too interesting, just the Vietnam War. Kidding, I actually love that topic. I think it's a great one. But, that's another topic for another day. Alright, what do we have here? Mahayana refugees flood into Sado. I can welcome them, gain 2 manpower, 5 admin power, or 5 all the powers. I get 4 revolt risk. I get cultural tensions and 2 revolt risk. Or I can turn them away for nothing. I'll take it. I want to make my provinces stronger. We can put revolts down with the army. I'm not worried. If ever you're playing this game now, if you do decide to try this out, if you like it, another thing I'll teach you, you can always control your expenses. So right now I have my army maintenance at full, but if ever you're at peacetime and you're struggling for income, you can turn it all the way down to save that money. Your army will be less productive, and it will be less efficient, and likely gets ass-kicked by everything, but it means you're saving money and, well, not at war. Personally, when I can afford it, I like to keep the army always at full maintenance. I like having an army ready to react, but it's understandable why, you won't do that sometimes. Let's see, I have the Shinto religion. I can gain 2 legitimacy, 10 prestige, 1 tolerance of heretics, heathens, and yearly legitimacy, but I lose tolerance of the true faith. I'm going to do the Shinto rituals. I like that. 2 prestige isn't that great when I'm at plus 69. And plus, I like long-term bonuses. This game is all about building little bonuses that benefit throughout the entire game, because that little 0.10% army efficiency or whatever helps a lot to choose a battle that's even over the course of the 5 to 10 dice rolls that'll occur. It might be the difference maker that makes you win a battle, lets you overrun his troops, kill them all, and next thing you know, you're in the driver's seat in a war. So never underestimate the ability of taking an enemy. What am I trying to say? Holy crap, my brain is fried now. Never underestimate the importance of those little bonuses. There we go. Success. But I think after that last little slip up, I might call it a night for this episode. Just because I don't want to go deeper into a state of complete mental decay, which will probably happen if I continue playing. Let's see, cheaper text, I lose 20 military power. Let's encourage the growth of the culture. That's not a bad thing. I can afford the money right now. Never go below your money. Never go into debt. You'll take a loan and it can cripple you with the interest payments and shit. Avoid it. Not a good idea. It's less punishing than it was in this game than it was in Europa 3, but I still don't recommend doing it unless it's the only choice you have. Cut the army if you have to, unless it means you're going to die, of course. But, don't ever take loans if you can help it, because it sucks. And it's a quick way to sink your nation into shit. What do we have here? Military access. You can go to hell. You're not walking through my lands. Fight me. So I'm just going to wait for this one to actually core, and then I'm going to call it a night. Oh, it's going to take another year, though. Okay, guys, I might not be making it for that core. I'm sorry, but I'll probably have to call it a night very shortly. And I know I've said that about 3 times in the last 2 minutes, maybe. But such is the way the brain works at such a late time at night. So let's see. Any national decisions which are worth a shit? Nothing at the moment. Could declare war on these guys. What's their allies like? Do they have a lot of allies? They actually do. So that's a war that I definitely don't want to engage in today or tonight, because that's going to be a bit of longer one, and probably have to use my brain a little more rather than just right-click, walk in, and dominate. Now, you might be saying, "Oh, this is easy. This is no fun," but it is, because once I form Japan, a lot's going to be going on. And plus, let's say I did play. Let me pause real quick. Let's say, okay, I can't see them, but let's say I did play like one of the European nations. It's a lot more tight there because everybody's equal footing in tech, and all the big nations, are anxious to take land and fight with each other. And so it's not necessarily that easy. Plus, I'm an experienced guy in this game, so I know how to be successful and how to work a war to your favor. And once you know how to do that, the game can become really easy. But when I say easy, I don't mean every time. There's lots of times where I might have to do a reload because I overestimate something, or I underestimate my opponent. Different things like that can lead you to ruin, or somebody joins in on the war that you're not expecting. You can't predict everything, but you can try to control the variables as much as possible. So, yeah, that's the way that works. So we got a little war going on here. It looks like this guy's trying to expand. So we're going to have to deal with these guys next for sure, because he could actually become a thorn. He's got an 11 stack, which is, it's not the end of the world, but it's a little threatening. But I can actually do up to a 17 stack now. So before I call it a night, let's just get the army set for tomorrow. Oh, man, that cavalry cost a shit ton. I just spent a lot of money, but that's okay. Let's get that stack up to 11 as well, so we're at least on even footing in case a war were to break out. Got my navy over there, of course. Still coring those lands. No point in getting any advisors yet. And finally, could hire a military leader, but not yet. Off with his head. Death or glory. So we can kill a criminal, or we can lose a prestige for 20 Diplo power, or gain 10 prestige. I'm going to lose that 1 prestige, because I'm at plus 66. 20 Diplo power is a little more useful. It's a couple months of time saved. About, roughly 3 point something. I don't feel like calculating it. It's not so important. We're not playing Europa Universalis or some shit. We are playing Europa Universalis, where I am the king and I will conquer you. So, let's see. There's my men popping up. Cool. It is worth looking at. More mercantilism. I always love to hear that. I wonder, I think there is a trade center here in Japan. I should see where that is and definitely conquer it if possible. It is in Tokyo, and Tokyo is somewhere over here. Uh-oh. I'm going to have to suffer on goods produced for a little bit. Where are you, Tokyo? Or do I have Tokyo? No, I don't think so. Okay, so if ever you can't find a province, you can actually use the find province one and search it. Doesn't seem like there is a Tokyo one. Maybe it's my capital? I'm not sure. I know that Tokyo normally somewhere over here, but it's not showing up. Sometimes the provinces aren't named what they're actually supposed to be until later on, like when you form Japan and then it names them after the actual Japanese provinces. Could be a case of that. Oh, okay, hang on. This is some pretty big shit that popped up. Moderate Buddhism. Lotus Sutra Buddhism. Ooh, discipline 5%. That's good for the military. Missionary strength, not so good. And I don't care about my opinions with people so much. I want to do this military one. That looks pretty awesome. That one's pretty good too, though. The meditation Buddhism. Pure land. Yeah, I'm going to go for the Lotus one. 5% discipline. That's pretty substantial. Can sway a combat in your favor completely. Having more disciplined troops. So yeah, that's pretty awesome for sure. Okay, so I ended up making it to this coring. It's coming in this April, so I'll ride it out. It's like 1 month away. And then I will call it a night at that point because my eyes are closing. As much as I would love to keep rambling to you guys, probably should save face a little bit before I make a fool of myself. But don't worry, you'll see other episodes where maybe that'll happen. Who knows, That's the way life works sometimes. Very mysterious at times. Alright, there we go. So as you saw, we have gained a core province in Etchu. It is now part of our patrimony. We shall defend it to the last drop of peasant blood. Well, that is just wonderful. So, that is the episode for tonight, guys. I hope you enjoyed part 1. I'll definitely play some more of this. I really do enjoy this game. I don't know how fun it is to watch as a Let's Play, but I'm going to give it a shot, experiment with it, and see where it goes. So, I hope you enjoyed this episode. This is SeeD from SeeD's Gaming signing off. And as always, please feel free to like, subscribe, and all that jazz to the channel. Leave some comments. Love to hear back from you. If you want me to do any challenges in game, I'm all ears. So, thanks for tuning in, guys, and I hope to see you soon. Have a great one. See you in episode 2.